Hi everyone, it's Rhonda here today, and ironically, when I went live, the sun came out. I'm really not sure how those two things are connected. Most likely they're not. But hey, we'll take the sun anytime we can get it. So I'm here today for our LinkedIn Live. Um, Jeff should be with me soon. He's trying to get in. Technology has not been our friend the last couple weeks, so hopefully we'll be able to have him join me because this conversation is going to be much more interesting if Jeff's on with me, that's for sure. This week, we are going to announce our curated speaker lineup for the Inflection Point Hub. This is the beginning of our speaker lineup. We have three speakers that we are really excited to share are going to be part of our hub and are going to um, be resources that that our hub members are able to tap into. Um, we'll have opportunities for our hub members to hear them speak on a virtual Zoom platform, and then obviously that gives our hub members the ability to get to know these people and tap into the expertise that they have. We have a lot more speakers that we are working on for going over time. These are the first three that we have. So we're using the term curated speakers. And there's a reason why we're using that term because of three things that are why we're picking these kinds of resources, these specific resources. First of all, the first reason is small but mighty businesses need resources that understand how business is done on a smaller scale. In my newsletter that I send out to my list last month, I talked about the fact that someone who does work with major corporations is going to be thinking about processes and systems that a small but mighty business can't possibly implement. They don't have the people, they don't have the financial resources. It's That's not the way things work when you're a small business. And as somebody who went from working for a major corporation to working for myself, that was an adjustment I had to make in thinking differently about the budget that I had to spend and where was the smartest place for me to spend that and who were the kinds of resources I needed to use because of that. Now there are some kinds of resources that carry over. One example that I'm thinking about is I was doing work with food, and so food photography was something where, in that instance, you use the same food photographer whether you were going to be doing something as a corporation or as a small business. But there are many things, expertise in, for instance, marketing, in strategy, in processes and systems, where you use a different kind of a resource. You wouldn't use KPMG or PwC, the big accounting firms, for a strategy business development resource when you're a small business, because at that stage, you you cannot afford their fees. They're great resources, and there are things that you can read from them, and there might even be programs that you can tap into from them. But to use them as your consultant is really beyond what you have the ability to do in the beginning. Excuse me, when you're a small business. Then there's the fact that there are a million resources on the internet. The challenge with that is there are a million resources on the internet. So how do you know which ones are trustworthy and credible? And how do you know that these people understand small growing businesses? That is the trick. And you really need to find resources that are valuable for you, but that are also credible and trustworthy and have your best interest in mind. Because that resource may be somebody who is out there, and I mean, Jeff has a website, I have a website, we exist on the internet, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody who's out there on the internet knows what they're talking about. Then the third reason why we are using these curated speakers is because we know, like, and trust these resources. These are people that we've curated for you because you are a small but mighty business owner, and so are Jeff and I. We're in that place using our expertise and, and combining our expertise. But we also know that there are other experts out there that we need to tap into for you. So, who are we bringing? And unfortunately, it's looking like Jeff is having some challenges, and we're not going to be able to have him with us unless we get a big surprise and he just pops up. That would be awesome. But let me share with you the three people that we're bringing into our curated speaker lineup for this fall. First of all, we're bringing back Erin Longman, who was our first guest on the podcast way back in, I think it was March. Erin from Zephyr Connects is a hiring and recruiting resource for small businesses. She focuses on small businesses. And she does an ideal fit team building program to attract, hire, and retain the right team for your company. Erin's energy can compete with Jeff and me. That if you go back and watch the video when we interviewed Erin, once we got the technology working when we were interviewing Erin, we had challenges with the thing too. You will see that her energy level and her passion for her clients comes through. Absolutely. Our second person is Beth Menduni. And Beth, I met Beth 4 years ago at a Christmas party, believe it or not. Then another business person we both know held, and we just had a great time hitting it off, having a conversation. And as I talked to her, I realized that her business journey was such a fascinating story. Beth's business is Video Story Studio. Her business journey is an encouragement for all of us because she really has done well at building her business, at pivoting at times when she needed to, at finding the sweet spot and really focusing there and going all in for the next level. But I'm going to let her tell you that story because it's fascinating and she does a great job of it. And believe me, she keeps your attention. Her expertise in video production, storytelling, and message mapping makes her an important curated resource for the hub. Because you see, all of us have to be able to tell our story. And it's really important to get clear on what our story is and how it connects to our audience, the people that we want to serve. Yes, I'm a marketing person, but I do that marketing strategy way high level. I actually had Beth help me with the message mapping process. And it was really, really valuable for me to figure out how I talk to those that I know I need to serve. So that they understand what I can do for them, and so that I'm putting that in words that they can relate to. And of course, the most important thing for this person who's an Enneagram 7 is that Beth is fun. And oh, by the way, we share a birthday. So I know now that you're definitely going to want to hear the interview with Beth when she comes on the live stream and the podcast. That's another piece of information that we'll be sharing with you soon. Our third expert that we are bringing on the live stream is Maritza Nelson. She is a legal counsel for entrepreneurs. She is very specific. She does not work in the corporate space. She works with entrepreneurs and small business owners. I met Maritza probably, 6 or 7 years ago at a NABO meeting. And I've watched her business grow over that period of time. Not only have I watched her business grow, but I've watched her grow in confidence and the ability to represent her business in the marketplace. And she is doing a great job because, you see, she's in so many different places. And what's really crazy is not only did I meet Marisa about 7 years ago at a novel meeting, but Jeff knows her too. But we didn't know that we knew the same person. And when we were talking about the experts that we wanted to bring together and curate for the Inflection Point Hub, we both were talking about this lawyer that we thought would be a great fit. And I don't remember exactly how we figured out it was the same person, whether I had actually heard her speak in early in 2022 at a novel event. Ironically, novel is the big thing today. And what she said was absolutely fabulous and very timely for Jeff and me and what we're doing together with the Inflection Point Hub. So I was talking about how she was putting this together, and then I said her name, and he goes, I know her. And he has been recommending her to all his clients over the last couple of years because he trusts her. Back to that know, like, and trust factor. We both know that Marisa has the best interest of all of her clients at the bottom of what she does. It's in her heart and it's how she represents herself. So those three, so we're talking about HR related issues, building your team, getting the right people on your team. We're talking about marketing through your message mapping and putting your message out there in video. Believe me, if Beth can get me confident enough to get on live streams and actually even do them alone like I'm doing today, that is an accomplishment because I used to hate being in front of the camera. But I've overcome that, and I realize that the message that needs to be shared is more important than whether I like being in front of the camera. Beth was a big part of that. She helped me get confident in the message that put me in front of the camera. That's a statement. And then legal concerns for small business, because let's face it, we may not always want to have the lawyer involved, but it's smarter if we have the lawyer involved. We need the protection that the lawyer gives us. I actually had another business owner tell me a couple weeks ago that having the lawyer, they were doing a contract. They were doing a contract with a big real estate company, like big shopping center real estate company. And so the shopping center company brings them the contract and says, here's the contract. So, just sign here and, do this, do that. And oh, by the way, give us a deposit and we're good to go. But someone had the wisdom to suggest to her that she needed to have a lawyer review the contract, and specifically in this area, this area, and this area. Well, the lawyer's review of the contract got her protections that she would not have had. It doesn't mean that the people with the shopping center were bad people. It just means that everybody writes a contract that is to their benefit. And in order to make sure your rights and options are protected, you need to have somebody that's looking out for your interests review that legal document also. So our third person is Maritza, the lawyer that focuses on small business and entrepreneurs. We will be bringing them on and interviewing them here to just give you a sneak peek and an experience and a taste of these experts. And then you'll start recognizing the value of the hub and having those resources, curated resources, available to you in video form as someone that you can tap into going forward. Unfortunately, Jeff has not been able to join us today. That's really a bummer because I know that the stories that he was going to tell, I can't tell them for him, but I know that having been in the corporate space more recently than I was, he has also experiences and examples of working with experts when you're in the corporate world that are not the same experts that you need to use as a small business owner. That's where our peer advisory group in the Inflection Point Hub is one more place that we add value. So please be aware of the fact that we are going to start the speakers in the hub in September, and it's time to start thinking about joining up. You can find more information in the application link at rhondapeterson.com/inflection point hub. We'll see you on the other side. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.